Well, here we are in our second segment this morning, and my guest is Scott Ryan from the Village of, well, he's here through the Rotary Club in the Village of Holmen. Scott has taken on a very important task with us. He is our mentor for the Interact group at the high school. Scott, why don't you tell us what you're doing with the youth?
Well, it's a very enjoyable position for myself. We've got a fantastic group of young people, high school age students, that we meet at the high school on a twice-a-month basis. Mm-hmm. And they're very civically minded. Interact is fashioned after the Holmen Rotary Club, or Rotary in general. They're sponsored by the Holmen Rotary Club. Mm-hmm. And so their focus is designed to do service projects, community service projects, and ideally the goal is to do service above self. Mm-hmm. So they have done local service projects such as they've helped with the Meals on Wheels programs, the Holmen's Hope meal. Community dinner, yeah. Exactly. They've done some international projects and helped with Holmen Rotary Club when they have sponsored some of their water filters. And they've done a couple things like Shoes for Haiti right after the big earthquake.
I remember that one.
There's a young individual who just really grabbed hold of the situation and found hundreds of pairs of shoes. And
didn't you also do a stuffed animal collection?
Yeah, and these are these kids' ideas to do this.
Yeah.
And so they come up with it themselves, and they raised hundreds of stuffed animals. So many that it was intentionally designed to be given to just the police departments for when there's a traumatic situation and a youngster's involved, to give them some comfort. But we had so many animals, stuffed animals, that they involved the ambulance and the fire department, and it was just a fantastic
event. See how those things blossom, you know?
It is, and it's really a joy to see the youth in our community. You know, sometimes you hear some of the bad things that happen. And this is just completely the opposite.
You know, it's really funny because my children, of course, are all adults. My grandchildren, some of them are adults already. And you think of the good things that the kids do come up with. And I've seen some of that in my younger grandchildren that are involved in some of the different groups now. And I think it's a responsibility that we have as parents and grandparents to encourage the kids to be involved. You know, there is more to high school in being in the community than sports. I mean, sports are very good for a lot of kids, and we have an excellent park and rec program in the village. We have great sports through the schools. But I think that it's important that the kids also realize there are other things that they can do.
I agree. I think it's real important to teach to young people that, you know, besides jobs and families, that you know, there's nothing more important than helping other human beings. Right. And making a difference, and that is very gratifying to both them and myself to see the improvements that they have made in this community and around the world.
I think the school supports them.
Very much so. Very much so. They have allowed them. We meet on their property. They enjoy the benefit that they have done into the community, and they are very supportive of the group.
It's great. I know that that your group had quite a few volunteers. This last Saturday, the Rotary Club had an e-waste collection for Habitat for Humanity. But I was down there for a while, and your kids were just having a ball.
It was a ball to see them get involved, jump in the back of pickup trucks and pull out those heavy TVs, and they enjoyed looking at some pieces of equipment that they probably would never see, you know, TVs with turn dials on them and stuff like that.
I think we talked about that at Rotary, and I think, my gosh, you know, we had TVs that had turn dials on them. But it's a learning experience for them. I think that it shows them how important it is to give back, even as a youngster, you know. And like you say, I know they're involved in a home and nutrition site with delivering meals on occasion, and and by the way, a lot of that is yours, Scott. You help these kids.
Oh, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. I think it's important to understand that you know, we teach them academically and sports-wise and a lot of things, but to teach them to look outside their own shell, and at the same time teach them leadership skills, because they organize this. Yeah. They get their group together, and they fundraise, and they organize who's going to be where and when, and so it's very kind of adult-minded organization of just really super kids.
Yeah, I agree. And
there's room for more.
Yes, there is, but I know that this summer when we had our Concert in the Park series, that the kids showed up sometime, different times, and sold pop and popcorn, and it was nice for the attendees for the concert, but it was also good for the kids too. You know?
It's also good interaction for the youth. You're always looking to have intergenerational involvement, and it gains a respect both directions. I'm sure that both young and old get more respect for each of the groups. I
have a little bee to plant in your bonnet today. You know that the Holmen area will have a sesquicentennial in 2012. Oh. And one of the things on my list is an intergenerational prom dance.
Oh, that would be very cool.
For my age, your age, and the kids. And I think that the kids will have a lot of fun. I've chatted with Christina Smaby, who was our Miss Wisconsin from Holmen in 2009, and I chatted with her, and she's going to help me with some of the structure of putting that party together. But that will be part of our sesquicentennial coming up next year. And I think your kids will have a ball working with that.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah. So
it's if anybody has any interest in our group, we have you can find us on Facebook and contact me through there. Otherwise, my email address is easy to remember. It's my name, Scott Ryan @charter.net. And that way, if you're a youth that wants to get involved in this, we communicate a lot through texting and email, so we know that their lives are very busy, but we keep them informed.
I know that we don't have much time left today, but if you have just a couple minutes, tell me about our foreign exchange students that we're involved with.
Real quickly, we've had several outbound students, which are students that go to different countries. We've had, I think, 4 or 5 since I've been involved in that. And currently, we have what we would call an inbound student who's attending Holmen High School, who will be is in one host family right now, and we'll have 2 others within the next school year. And she'll be here for the remainder of the school year, and just doing a fabulous job, and she's having a ball.
And she's meeting lots of kids.
And she's touching a lot of lives.
Yeah.
And it's really...
Her name is Johanna?
Johanna, yeah. And it really helps to make this world a smaller place when we can share experiences around the world. And when you see some of the negative things in the news and stuff, you say, no, it's not always that way. I've met people from those circumstances.
And I would tell you that we do have a member of our club that's had a lot of exchange students stay at their home. And we had our first student who went overseas, and he met a family over there that they have become entrenched with each other, the 2 families. And our first student has lived overseas now, and he's traveling. He's going to be a senior in college, and he's going into international work all through his first experience with the Rotary Exchange Program. So
very common situation.
It's a very, very wonderful things for the kids to get involved in.
And if there's any families that are interested in that program as well, you can also contact me.
Yep.
We can put that together.
Scott, I want to thank you again very much for being here today. I'm just proud of what you're doing.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah.
It's a joy on my part to be involved in such a great organization, and Rotary as well, because there's just so many similar things going on.
I've been around the community for a long, long time, and also in lacrosse, and just the last 5 years that I've been involved in Rotary's been some life-altering things for me.
Very common words that we've heard in our Rotary group. So come see us on Wednesday morning at Rotary too, if you're interested. 7 a.m.
7 o'clock Wednesday mornings at the Village Hall, and come and be our guest.
It's a good time.
Well, thank you very much again, Scott, for being here, and thanks for all that you're doing for our youth.